Hey up lads and lasses, Damphyre here, back again with some more Infinite Lagrange. Looking at the community post I chucked out the other day, it was a 68% for fighters and bombers, so that is what we're going to jump into. I have almost all the fighters here. A couple I haven't personally been able to test. The AT-021 I got while in the hub, oddly. And the BR-050 as well I got while in the hub, and I don't have its variants, I just have the defense type, whereas the AT-021 I got the pulse and the interference, and don't have the multi-role, but I can at least talk about it a little bit at some point. But hopefully by the time I get to those two, because I'm going to leave those to the end, I'll have them and then I can test them, because I should be in server by then, and get a bit more detail into a guide for them. With that being said, I want to start off with the Mistral and probably do the Stingray as well today, and that'll be, Thursday, Friday's videos. But do let me know down in the comments which other fighters you want to hear about first, and I'll try and get those ones out, obviously. And yeah, with the exception of the BR-050 and the AT-021, I'll try and get the other ones out. I've got pretty good knowledge and used all of the other ones at some point within the last few months at least. While I was still in server, I tried to test them all out again. So yeah, starting off with the Mistral, because this is probably the most important aircraft in the game. Either this one or the Vitus B. It's one of the two. Actually, even the Vitus Bs, there are BR-050s with similar damage output as Vitus Bs now. So yeah. For anti-aircraft though, this is a mainstay in any fleet, pretty much every fleet, and it's mostly due to the fact that it's just so prevalent at AA. It will just shred apart enemies' aircraft pretty rapidly, and then you got a situation of who's got, the better Mistral, who's got the most tech points on him, who's, upgraded them and all that good stuff, and that is literally the key difference between fights in 90% of the fights at the moment, be it with Swarm versus Swarm, heavy fleets, all of them are pretty much running Mistral. And again, like I said, due to the fact that it is just absolutely absurd, the anti-aircraft potential this thing has. So, that being said, what I like to do is I like to jump into its vector engines first. Its engine system. This is due to the fact that there is both an evasion and a hit rate mod in here, and grabbing these is really, really good. So grab the evasion and the hit rate here first, in my opinion, because this is just going to give you the ability to stick around considerably more. And the armor system on this is only just HP boosts. I actually don't pick up the HP boosts on this early. I pick them up after I've gone into the weapon system, which we do now. And that's mostly due to the fact that you can get a larger damage increase out of this thing and more consistent damage increase than you can by increasing its HP, which is quite odd because 90% of the time, increasing the HP generally gives you a bigger damage increase because it sticks around longer. In the case of the Mistral, because the HP is quite low on it in the first place, at only 5,670, giving it adjustments of the armor system where you're getting an extra 10% of 5,670 is 560. Actually, it's not even that, is it? No, yeah, it is that. So you only pump it up about 1,000, just over 1,000 extra HP, which in the grand scheme of things, you can get way more damage output than 20% HP by picking up some strategies and, increasing your cooldowns and that sort of stuff. So anyway, after you pick up the evasion and the hit rate, go into the weapon system here and pick up the extra hit rate here, and this gives you this ability to just keep hitting your opponents just over and over and over again, especially if it's doubled up because you've stuck this on Tundra or something of that nature, because then your hit rate just goes through the roof, plus you're getting the bonus evasion and stuff going on there. So yeah, really, really powerful. After that, double cooldown is the way I like to go. You have got 7 slots to play around with, so you got a little bit of leniency here with what you're picking. So hit rate, double cooldown, 3 of your slots. You have 4 slots left. This is where I like to personally go into the pursued targets. When the target HP falls below 20%, it increases attack chances in a single round by 1 and reduces attack interval by 40%. Reducing attack interval is absolutely fantastic. You take it whenever you can. This is a little bit more dependent on this ship, and it's mostly due to the fact that when the HP of your enemy fall below 20%, most things die anyway, but you're just trying to speed up that process, because in that Mistral versus Mistral battle, being able to kill their Mistrals off that little bit faster can keep more of your Mistrals alive, and then you get the snowball effect. However, obviously, when this video comes out, everyone's going to be doing the same thing, and then it's just kind of a bit of luck, as it is. The other sort of strategy, it's not classed as a strategy, is focus on aerial targets, where it prioritizes fighters and interceptors. I personally ignore this. They generally focus fighters and interceptors anyway. So most of the time, the focus on aerial target is just not needed. So I personally would just ignore this. I then pick up the reduced target selection time. This means after they've killed things, and hopefully they're killing things a little bit quicker, your lock-on time is quite long on the Mistral. So bringing that down actually helps it out and gets a bit more damage out. You have 2 slots remaining. There are 2 options. You either go into double crit damage here, which potentially has higher possible damage output, but for consistency's sake, I go for the double damage. And this just gives you slightly more damage. You have 10 damage per hit. Double damage here, it's giving you 2 damage. It's pretty insubstantial, to say the least. So crit is a possibility. I've not found it working particularly well on the Mistral. And again, this is only going to be, 40% crit damage, and it's got a low chance to crit. There is no like innate crit on here that you can see, like some of the systems. So you only have like the 5% chance to crit. So I wouldn't really go the crit build. I would go the damage build, or even potentially maybe just go 1 damage, 1 crit. Is also an option for you there. Weapon system damage doesn't really matter, and again, the barrel enhancement is pushing up the damage up, so you can sort of increase this by another 15%, but again, that's just going to be 1.5 damage, and it rounds down as far as I remember anyway. So yeah, that in all will increase its like overall damage output, which it doesn't seem like a lot, but this is a single ship we're looking at here. I know it is all of them, so if we switch to single ship, you'll see 611 for the single ship, whereas if you go into the switch to squadron, it's 2444. So it's not bad. You are pumping the thing's damage up more than you are if you go into the HP first. After that, into the HP, grab it, and then you go into the command system. Here, never, ever take target reset. This ship's weapon's primary weapon prioritizes attacks on super capitals. This thing has absolutely no way of dealing any substantial damage whatsoever to super capitals at all. Their armor basically mitigates it to do absolutely nothing. So yeah, it has got attack against systems. It has a high primary weapon attack, which is nice, but the damage is so low, just don't expect it ever to really deal too much damage there. I'd recommend going for the increased automated maintenance efficiency of the system by 5%, and that is mostly due to the fact that when you are fighting other Mistrals, they'll knock each other's weapons out. You get a slightly faster cycle on your weapons being, fixed and back up and running. You can get more damage output against their fighters. Going into the propulsion system for the last 2 slots here. Flight time reciprocal aircraft is quite nice, and double target selection time is also quite nice. So you have to try and, depending on which carrier you've got this on, if you've already got a lot of cooldown and stuff, maybe not pick up the double target selection time, pick up the flight time and one of the target selection times. If you're lower on the amount of CDR you've already brought onto it and that kind of stuff, bring up the reduced target selection time of the primary weapon by 7.5% and go double on it, and that will increase its target selection time, which again, like I said, is pretty long on the Mistral. But certainly, you know, it's completely fine to use. And like I said, this is easily one of this is easily the strongest anti-air capable fighter we have at the moment, by a considerable margin. Nothing really quite competes with it still, which is a shame, because it would be nice if there was, you know, a couple of other options here. Give you know, your second fleet the ability to deal with anti-air would be nice, or so it's not just like, oh, your primary fleet's got all your Mistrals. That means your second fleet's going to get swarmed on by any swarm fleet and destroyed. That being said, you know, the same thing happens to the opponents as well. So I guess it is balanced in that sense of things. And that is the Mistral. It literally goes on any aircraft carrier you've got. If you've got an aircraft carrier, you got anything that carries mediums, Predators, Series, Tundra, put it on everything, because like I said, it's the best in slot. And then ideally, Tundra is this thing's go-to. These on Tundras are disgusting because of the amount of hit rate they can get. They can just point to, like, it gets to a point where basically it never misses a shot, which is incredible. It's so goddamn powerful. It's getting bonus evasion from the Tundra as well. It just becomes an absolute nightmare to deal with on Tundras, and I highly recommend, if you haven't tried it on the Tundra, give it a go on the Tundra. You'll see it will beat any other Mistral out there, if they're not also on Tundra. So, there we go. Again, drop down in the comments below, let me know what fighters you want to do next. Obviously, Stingray is going to be up next, but after that, I can, you know, get some comments and see what you guys fancy, and go from there, with the exception of the AT-021 and the BR-050. I'll try and leave those to last in case I pick up the other versions of them, and so I can get those out and test them a bit more while I'm in server, hopefully soon. So, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.